Okay, everything's done. Sorry for that awkward beginning. I just wanted to make sure everything was correct. Linus isn't here, and we weren't perfectly on time, which disappoints me, because usually we've done a really good job. It's partially my fault. I will take blame for that.
No, it's actually Linus's fault, because when it's you and I, we're on time.
Yeah.
But Linus is in the building, and he may take over, and it's because we waited for him that this is late.
Yes, that is fair. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, beyond all of that kind of stuff, gonna be a great show. We have some fantastic topics, some that'll make you sad, some that'll make you happy. You might cry, or not.
I actually had a little emotional moment when I was writing the show notes.
Yeah, it gets pretty deep. Anyways, we're gonna talk about Galaxy S9 possibly coming in February. We're gonna be talking about Intel possibly doing steep cuts to the Intel Inside program, and
what kind of show would it be if we didn't at least address the net neutrality buzz this week, as well as Disney's giant $54 million acquisition of parts of Fox, 20th Century Fox.
Just buy the world.
Just buy it all.
Anything that makes media, buy it. Then you own all the media.
The Walmart of Hollywood. Hey, I didn't write it. I saw someone else wrote it. But I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. At least they saved us from not too much. There we go. Moss. Yes. Tesoro.
Tesoro. Tesoro.
And Freshbooks.
Freshbooks.
Yeah. It's slightly harder to move the little sources around on OBS than it is on XSplit. Not much, but slightly.
That's like a Coke and Pepsi thing, hey?
Yeah. Most of the comparisons between the two are like pretty major. That one's a little Coke and Pepsi. I will agree. First topic we're going to talk about is Title II being dunzos. So you have some specific comments on here.
Yeah,
so
but you should go. You should go first.
So okay,
you probably know a lot more about this than I do.
Okay, so I actually don't know about the like Title II specific stuff, and I don't know a lot about the exact implications. I have a lot of ideas of how companies and how people are going to react to things and how it's going to affect things, but I don't know the word of the law.
And I think this is actually, I think you echo the sentiment that a lot of people have. Before we get into, like, maybe we just explain what happened.
So yeah, in a 3-2 vote, the Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC, declassified internet providers as a Title II common carriers situation. Now, in my opinion, it seems like the entire world thinks that tomorrow you're going to have to like pay to use Facebook. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it would be interesting if they went super hard and just wrecked people immediately, because that would probably get it rethrown over super fast. But that's not what's going to happen. It's going to happen slowly. Before anything directly affects users, I think the first things that are going to happen is a lot of like kind of inside industry deal kind of stuff, making Netflix pay them so that they can actually distribute their content properly, blocking content of certain people on different ISPs or on different devices or whatever, so they can push their own products that are similar.
Yeah.
A lot of that kind of stuff is what I suspect is going to happen.
That did happen in the past at one point.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
they got reprimanded.
Yes, but okay, this is where I could totally be wrong. As far as I know, this was in place to try to stop, to make it easier for the reprimanding to happen. And this being potentially sort of gone now, the Title II thing is gone now, not the entirety of it, I know that, makes it easier for them to do those things and not get reprimanded, as far as I understand.
So, everybody likes net neutrality. There's like, I don't think there are many, well maybe
I actually know some people
maybe these businesses, but like, I think we can all agree that nobody wants to have a situation like the one you're describing. My problem is how this whole issue is being framed. Like all the articles today, like The Verge in particular, it's like the FCC votes to kill net neutrality. Net neutrality's done. Like the world's over. And there's no distinction being made that like actually net neutrality isn't over. It's just Title II that's over. I don't think this debate really. And the FCC guy who always gets quoted, like the evil guy,
Ajit Pai, I believe.
I don't really think he's evil. I think he's just like answering a different question. The question has been framed by the media as, do we want net neutrality? Whereas the question that's actually happening with, or being answered with this vote is, how do we want net neutrality to be enforced? And they've decided that Title II isn't the way to do it. And it comes down to the two different ways that you can regulate. So the one approach is called ex ante, which is regulating something kind of proactively so mistakes don't happen. And that's a really great way to do it when the stakes are super, super, super high. Where if it's like, if this nuclear bomb gets dropped, the world's over, so that cannot happen.
I think it also, I'm gonna let you finish. But one thing I'm gonna drop in is I think the stakes being super high is a little bit of a perspective thing. There's a lot of people that are running companies like we are, both through Linus Media Group and Floatplane Media, that could be severely hurt here. People could lose jobs, people could lose livelihoods, people could lose entire companies. That could, in some people's opinion, end their life. So
Agreed.
There's some scale going on there. But yeah, I will let you continue now.
I agree with that. But I think that those things can be thwarted by the other type of regulation, which is ex post, which is when you're more reactionary with the regulation, which is what we had before, prior to 2015, prior to Title II, which is where ISPs would try to do stuff like promoting their own products first, and then they would get reprimanded for it, and then after that happened, no other ISPs would make that mistake again. So yeah, there's like people's livelihoods on the line, but then regulators step in and slap their wrists or sue them or whatever, and then it seems to be enough. And the reason that you even have to make the choice between one or the other, seeing as the Title II version seems way more safe, is because in theory it costs a lot more, and that would in theory kind of put a damper on innovation, and we want innovation because we want there to be better broadband tomorrow than today.
But then there's also the situation where, like, now I'm jumping into something that's not in the notes and I don't have the exact name for, but people talk a lot about how the American populace paid through tax dollars huge, ludicrous amounts of money to get fiber laid out, and then nothing was ever done with it. I've done some research on that. That's not exactly how it worked. It was actually way worse. What happened was the telecommunications companies of whatever sort were able to put a fee, like government is okay with this fee on everything, and that fee was supposed to directly and solely contribute to the rollout of fiber across all over the place. And it's easier to do it in cities, but the city people would have to keep paying the fee so that the more difficult places would be able to be developed. That was part of the idea. That has not been acted on at all. And that fee is, whoops, I'm broadcasting my screen. And that fee is still going on. And as far as anyone can tell, there's no intention of that ever becoming a thing anyways. So I don't think there's, when you talk about the inspiration to innovate, in somewhere like up here, usually you have like 2 options, or maybe 3, maybe probably not 4, depending on where you live. There are technically some places in Vancouver where you can get like a lot of different ISP options, but it's really uncommon. Out here, usually you get 2. It's TELUS or Shaw. In a huge percentage of the states, there is no option. You have one ISP. There is no incentive to innovate, not because they can't charge more. They're charging a lot, for one. Internet is extremely expensive in America. And for 2, they have this freaking, it's not a tax, but a fee thing that's put on all of their charges that is supposed to directly be like the American government being like, here, innovate. And they're just not doing it.
Just doesn't,
because they're like, here, money, pocket, no do anything. Sounds good. So I understand the, like, you need to be able to charge more so that you can have money in the bank so that you can innovate. From a company perspective, like for Floatplane Media, for example, the fee that we take, Like if we ignore the amount of money that goes to the creator, which is not a thing, they're getting money for doing work, that's how that works. But our fee, some of it is to cover our current overhead in terms of staff and in terms of like building and chairs and tables and computers and whatnot. And part of it is so that we can have a little bit of extra money that we can put in the bank, and then we can sit on that little bit of extra money, and if we need to buy a piece of software to enhance our service or add more troubleshooting, or if we need to hire another person, we can go like, okay, this is fine. We have this money here, we can innovate in this way, we can spend the money making the thing, we can do the thing. That is important, but they've already had an extremely great example of that, which is that consistent fee for every single person in America that is subscribed to a internet service, as far as I know. And they're not innovating. America still has like actually pretty bad internet. You go to like anywhere in Europe or pretty much any Asian country that I've been to, and you go to like hotel lobby Wi-Fi, and it's like, holy crap, if I could have this as like the dedicated line into my house, I would be so happy.
Isn't that like just a factor of the size though? Like I think that in some of the urban centers in the States, it's as good. Well, not maybe like Japan level, but
there's definitely
it's
some
world
places.
class, but yeah, it's
you
just
can
not
get,
consistent across the nation.
You can get gigabit in some places for sure, and you can get gigabit in Vancouver even as well. And it's not just Google Fiber. That is definitely true. But there is also a lot of places where you can't, where you absolutely should be able to, and most of those places is where there's no competition. Usually where you actually see something like fiber is because these telecommunications companies haven't been able to sue a small company into the ground and forcing them to not be able to compete, which is a thing that has happened a lot in the US. And there's definitely, like if you look at somewhere like Taiwan, most of the country, super easy to get internet to. It's a fairly small island, essentially, and you can network the whole thing. It's a lot easier to do than like Canada. But Canada's problems are almost more understandable than America's because we are so spread out. But then at the same time, if you look at Canada's population across the map, it's like empty, 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 empty. This is the border to America. Empty, 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 empty. Everyone is like right here. So we're all kind of in a thin line. And like population centers, it's weird whenever I hear people talking about the US when they talk about more than one significant city in a state, because it's like almost not a thing up here. We have like a couple provinces that have more than one city that are like major. But if you think about outside people,
Everyone's got two.
What other city in BC?
Victoria. It's like, okay, the definition of major is different.
Not
but
a lot
it's
happens
still
in
major,
Victoria. There's a school and and there's retirees.
Okay, there's Calgary and there's Edmonton.
Yeah.
There's Montreal and Quebec City.
Yeah.
There's in Ontario there's a buttload.
Yes.
Like
Ontario is
Mississauga and all
definitely a
those
thing.
are all
But
big.
it's like barely.
St. John's and Quarterbrook. Get out of here. Never even heard of it. That was that was Alex walking by with his Maritimer Nova Scotia knowledge there.
But it's just like if you're trying to run networking across Canada, you kind of have like
a corridor to the
blip. Like here's
through.
a whole bunch of people, not very much. Here's a whole bunch of people, not very much. There's a lot of that going on. There is obviously some that's not true situations where a city's like much higher up, like in
Calgary and
Alberta's
Edmonton.
case, yeah, and whatnot. But it's like it's not impossible. And luckily up here, the fact that there's almost always, definitely not true for all situations, but almost always two ISPs fighting, we've seen quite a bit of innovation. Shaw recently tried to screw around and say that they were sending fiber to people's homes when they were actually sending fiber to the node and then copper to the home. So TELUS was like, no, we run actual fiber to the home. And then they took like a whole bunch of market share because of that. There was a little fight going on between them. We need them to be fighting.
Exactly.
I don't know. But like you were saying, this is not necessarily the end of net neutrality. This is its Title II status.
Yeah, I basically said my piece because I really don't know that much. I don't want to look like a fool.
Yeah.
I have heard that the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is the entity that ought to be regulating this type of thing, not the FCC.
Okay.
But I think it's just a big question mark. They're just like, will they do it?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. America has so many different government agency things. I don't know.
And we're just Canadian idiots.
Yeah,
we need John down here to who's
exactly.
American and schooled in law.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an extremely complicated situation. We're probably not the best ones to talk about it. My thing is I have an odd amount of information about like the things around it, like that weird fee thing and all this other kind of stuff, but I don't know the word of the law. I don't know what actually like happens now that it's not Title II, because I barely even understand what Title II is.
I'm going to take the position that everything's going to be okay. We hope.
Yeah. Yeah, we hope.
It's going to be all right.
It could be really bad for us up here. So we're just hoping that everything sort of, survives down there. It's always interesting being Canadian, because so much of what happens in America is extremely important to us. So like I know of quite a few Canadians that pay attention to American politics more than Canadian politics, not only because it's far more crazy. Our major controversy, if you want to see like hilarious Canadian politics, our major controversy of this year, I think, was Elbowgate. Was that this year?
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
wait a second. Yeah.
When he like bumped into the
Well, what about there's local issues. There's a big dam that they just made. It's like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's $12 billion. But we don't have someone tweeting to another like nuclear armed power.
I don't call him short and fat. Yeah, we don't have any of that kind of stuff. So it's not only
Bring it on, you little butterball. This is gonna be huge.
Not only is it more animated down there, I'd say, but everything that happens in the state extremely strongly affects Canada. And we often follow suit.
I'm basically picturing Trump with like Triple H's hair and like tassels from his elbows coming onto this.
He's been on WWE.
Yeah, he's walking onto the canvas mat with a microphone like, I've been sitting backstage listening to you. Run your mouth.
Oh, God.
Cracking some beers together, I guess.
Speaking of crazy cinematic experiences like that, Disney to acquire 21st Century Fox for $52.4 billion.
Billion. I'm stoked on this.
Really?
Kinda.
Because a lot of people are, you're going to be the contrarian in this stream. That is fun. That is good.
Like antitrust concerns? Is that the concern here?
I'm not entirely sure what defines that, so maybe. But I think it's just like they're Disney starting to eat everything up, and it's kind of scaring people a little bit.
Well, it depends on the scale you think about. Because on the other hand, Netflix is eating everything up. And they have been just steadily raising their prices, and like they're taking over. The only thing that TV is good for now is sports. So when Netflix is all that matters, because who cares about Prime Video or Hulu?
Hey man, they got a Lord of the Rings series coming on Prime Video.
They're doing.
And they have the Grand Tour.
They're
trying.
But we need competition, right?
Yeah.
And I think we also need TV to die. So I think I kind of like what Disney's doing here. To make it clear for everybody, they're not just straight up buying 21st Century Fox. They're buying the majority of their properties. So what's not included is Fox News. Originals. They're not buying Fox News. They're not buying the Fox Broadcast Network. They're not buying FS1 Sports Cable Channel. But they are getting a bunch of stuff, including
The Simpsons, Homeland, This Is Us, Modern Family.
That's all the Fox Television Studio stuff.
Yeah. They're getting television studio stuff, which includes 36 different series, which includes those 4 things I just said.
They are also getting the regional sports networks, which is a big deal.
Oh.
Yeah, so Disney has already announced plans to introduce 2 streaming services by the end of 2019. They already own ESPN, so they're going to have ESPN Plus, which is coming in the spring. But ESPN Plus is now also going to have these regional basketball games and stuff like that. So
wow. That's actually huge because, like you said earlier, TV is, of course, there's other things on it, but TV is very heavily for sports. The
only reason the other things are on TV is because they're bundled with sports.
Often, yeah. So like that's crazy, and regional is quite important. That's really cool. Okay,
yeah, and
all right.
So then the second streaming service they want to offer is built around their other properties like Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Pixar. They haven't named that streaming service yet, but it's going to roll out late
So that's
next
why
year.
they were pulling the Star Wars series off of Netflix.
Yeah, it's gonna go on their own. And on top of that,
Crazy.
Disney already owned 30% of Hulu. Wait,
Hulu?
I mess this up because of Silicon Valley, the show. Yeah, they own Gavin Belson's company, Hulu. They owned 30% of it, but now they're getting more through this acquisition, so they actually will have a majority stake in that. The other people who own Hulu are Comcast and Time Warner, I think, among others. And that streaming service is more for adult audiences or grown-ups, boring stuff, ABC shows.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of streaming services. There's a quote here from Bob Iger where he said that it's like their highest priority. Going direct to consumer is their highest priority. Which, if you think about it, is a crazy cultural shift and organizational shift for Disney, who traditionally they've had this content and they need to pimp it out to as many distributors as possible. So that's very horizontally integrated. Now they're flipping that. So we have this content and we're going vertically,
Straight
being
to consumer.
being the distributor and giving it to the consumer. That's an ambitious and legacy defining thing for us.
Well, they're trying to stay on top of it. One of the scariest things for a company like this is becoming that old company that just becomes behind the times.
Yeah.
So they're trying to stay on top of it. And it I run Floatplane, so this is a little bit of a contradictory thing to say. But while it might not feel great to everyone to have another streaming service that they have to pay for to get the content that they want, it's gonna be interesting. And maybe it will mean more stuff. I have no idea. Hopefully that's true.
It's gonna be sweet though, because the thing with Netflix, it's like there's a bajillion things on Netflix, and then you go to watch Netflix and you're like, there's nothing on Netflix. There's a bunch of low-budget documentaries, B-list movies.
Hey man, I like low-budget documentaries.
Sometimes, it's obviously getting better, but for the longest time, especially in Canada, it's been direct. Now there's gonna be a new service where you can just watch all The Simpsons, all the Family Guys.
Right. Yeah.
They have so many awesome properties under their umbrella. It's gonna be wicked.
The Fox Television Studio part will be pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting because the Lucasfilm stuff, them buying 21st Century Fox means they have the old properties for Lucasfilm, meaning the original series and stuff like that. Interesting.
Man, anyone with kids is going to buy that. Plop it down and your kid can just watch every Disney movie ever. Kids only need 2 Disney movies on repeat, as it is.
We've reinforced that with YouTube, too. They'll just sit and replay the same thing forever.
It's going to be sweet.
Yeah.
You want to do this one? I feel like this is a Luke topic.
Yeah, let's go for it.
PUBG creator says games need better protection from copycat titles. So, for people who don't know, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is a game kind of a new-ish genre that it's pioneering called the Battle Royale type of genre.
I think technically they're not pioneering it. I don't remember.
There's always someone who's first. It's Apple didn't invent the computer.
Yeah.
But
they definitely were the ones that exploded it and massively popularized it, etc. But I believe, again, I'm not super well versed on this, but I believe there was a game that this guy even contributed to slightly. This could be wrong. Sorry? Mods for Arma. And H1Z1. Okay, yeah. Which were both it was an Arma mod that was basically this, just you don't fly it on a plane, I think. Yeah. And H1Z1, which is basically this, but I think you also don't fly it on a plane. So maybe they're upset about planes. I don't know.
We should actually someone tweeted me or commented last time that we didn't read out the names of the forum posters.
Oh, jeez.
And I felt pretty bad about that. So there's a great thread about this on the forum. I even wrote posted by, and I didn't write the person's name.
That was the greatest segue ever. You want to grab that real quick? The Disney post was posted by D. Kress Jr. The Title 2 is Done So post was by Evil Cat 70. And I think that's it.
This one's posted by Porina, whose name I actually always love reading, and I like the accompanying picture. It's just a peaceful name, and he's got a little clownfish beside it. I just like that guy.
I think it's Porino.
What? Oh. Well, It's a Pokemon bias. I just go. It just sounds more Pokemon if I put an A on the end.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
My other favorite person's name on the forum is Max Settings.
Yeah.
Such an awesome name. Max Settings. Anyway, in the forum post, Perino brings up the fact that perhaps before these games, there was at least movies with this type of battle royale, like the movie Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. Yeah.
Which is almost exactly this, like you're on an island.
Yeah. The concept itself, it's an interesting thing because they definitely have a point with, there's some specific games. I know right here they call it, in China there are several titles that have the same premise, gameplay, and even graphics. Some are barely distinguishable from PUBG itself. Others have special license, like a Terminator 2 themed version.
So to back up, the game is so popular that there's a bunch of spin-off kind of copycat titles that are not affiliated at all, but kind of just like knockoffs.
Yeah, so in some ways I kind of agree, where like if it is basically exactly the same, then sure. But they say right in here, I want other developers to put their own spin on the genre, not just lift things from our own game. Different things are going to get lifted from every game. If you look into the history of gaming, FPS games used to be called Doom clones. Was it Doom clones?
Oh yeah, because they all have the same engine.
Yeah, and they kind of felt pretty similar, but they were technically different games, and there was slightly different things about it. Like I don't personally find it offensive that Fortnite. It's a little weird that you like flying on a bus in the exact same way that you flying on a plane on PUBG. That's a little weird. Well, not gonna lie.
I want to pose the question. The example you brought up a second ago in those early games, like the first-person shooter.
Yeah,
it's
like, wasn't a lot of potential to do other things.
Yeah, like it's not a very big sandbox.
And that's fair, but it is a very different gameplay experience to play the free Fortnite 50v50 or whatever they call it, like battle royale style game. I don't actually know the proper name for it. I only played 2 rounds. Only playing 2 rounds, it is an extremely different game. I got freaking wrecked because some guy needed to run up a mountain, and it was too steep, so he just built stairs, and while he was running up the stairs, he was building new stairs. He just went the whole way up, and I was like, I didn't think you could, what the? And you can like build fortresses, and in the 50v50 version, which PUBG doesn't have, it's 50 people versus 50 people. You still have 4-man squads, and you drop in your little squad. You're probably going to duke it out with a couple other 4-man squads that are on the other team, but eventually you get in a big group.
That's so cool.
And ball up, and you're all building like fortress walls together and stuff.
Wow.
It's a very different gameplay experience, and they have gone after Fortnite. So that, in my opinion, takes a little bit of the validity away. But then they also do have a valid argument.
Well, the bigger argument here is there's no intellectual property protection in games. This is a quote. In movies and music, there's IP protection, and you can really look after your work, but in gaming that doesn't exist yet, and this is something that should be looked into. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, IP protection stuff gets abused a lot.
You mean in music?
When
Tom Petty is like, yo, your song sounds just like won't back down, and then because it's the same chord progression, even though there is a finite number of chord progressions in the universe.
Yeah. And like, what is that, 4-chord, whatever? Like, everyone is running the same thing anyways. So like, and all the songs actually sound quite different, but they are running the same back.
Well, yeah, because the chords aren't the only thing. You have to put that together with a melody, which is, so the combinations, there's lots of.
So like, when you see like a mobile game that's called like Player Unknown, no apostrophe S, Battle Floor, and it has like the exact same icon, and it's essentially the exact same game, but it's like mobile or something.
I think there's a lot of knockoffs on mobile.
Yeah, that's rough. That's obviously ridiculous. If there's some game in China or a game in North America that I don't personally know of that is like, they say same premise, gameplay, and even graphics. And if by same, they mean actually the same, and it has all of those things that are the same, that's a problem. Definitely, in my opinion, that is a problem.
Do you think there's incentive for the app stores to be the ones who moderate that?
As far as I know, to a certain degree, they do.
Okay.
The app stores do.
All right.
But on something like Windows, there's no, you just download the file, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's nothing they can really do. And Windows tried to solve that, and everyone hated it with good reason, because it was terrible. Windows Store is not a fun experience.
It's almost like freedom of speech. It's like, it's so good when it's free that you got to put up with bad stuff.
Yeah, but then profiting off of it is another thing, and like especially when they try to make the name almost the same.
Yeah,
because they're abusing the search terms. Because like I have seen, I don't remember where, it was player unknown battle something, and I think the last word was changed, but they were trying to get with the apostrophe thing.
Yeah.
They were trying to be like, people are going to forget that it's unknowns.
The search engine optimization there is a big piece of that, I'm sure. Like, you're getting so many matched characters there.
Is it just player? Yeah, it's player unknowns. There's an apostrophe S.
Yeah.
But
on the real one.
On the real one, yeah. But I don't remember what it was. I don't even know if it's still around. But I remember at some point I saw. I guess I'll share my screen.
It's actually the knockoff is actually player unknown. Player unk now. It's just like jumbled as an anagram. You know how if you don't have to actually read, as long as like the first and last letter are the same, you can jumble it middle. You imagine it's just like that.
There's just no way to actually tell. It would be like Dota is a clone of LOL. Yeah, which like if anyone's played the two games, they absolutely know. Okay, first of all, Defense of the Ancients came out first, so you got to flip those around.
Get conked.
Come on. But if you played the two games, if you played Defense of the Ancients, the Warcraft 3 mod, and then played League of Legends, you'd be like, wow, this is really different. And then when Dota 2 came out, if you played the first game and then League and then Dota 2, you would be like, wow, this is really different again. They're very different genres. They're both Defense of the Ancients style games. You still have top, middle, bottom lane. You still have jungling. You still have hero selection. You still have creep waves. You still have killing minions for money. There's lots of those different types of similar mechanics, but they are very different games. And like I think it actually takes a different style of person to play each one. Of course, if someone's like a pro Dota player or League player, they can probably go back and forth to a certain degree with enough time spent in the game. And if you threw like a pro Dota player against a noob League player, I'm sure they would wreck them in the noobs game. But like that transitions over to almost anything. I'm sure a pro COD player versus someone who's like never played shooter games before would be able to beat the person in Counter-Strike.
Oh, for sure.
Even though they're like drastically different games. They're both first-person shooters, but they're drastically different games. That's even more of a split than the League and Dota thing, so I'm not trying to pull it that far away. I'm not trying to straw man that much, but like I know what you're talking about.
We get it.
Yeah.
Amazon gets it too. Amazon and Google. I actually have put this story in the WAN docs for a couple of weeks because it's kind of been evolving, but I don't know if you guys have actually talked about it.
I haven't even seen it. Which one is it?
We're down a little bit. It starts with Amazon.
Okay.
So in that light, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So what happened was Google said, hey, Amazon, on your Echo Show device, we're not going to let you have the YouTube app anymore. And the reason is because your YouTube app is actually violating our terms of service because it's not delivering a great customer experience because there's features missing. On the Amazon Echo Show, which is the Echo device that has a screen on it, they didn't have things like there was no subscribers. There was no recommended next video. Like these things are pretty core to the YouTube experience these days. And for that reason, Google had a nice...
So this is it, by the way. I haven't seen it before even, so yeah. This is the device.
There's a billion different Amazon devices now.
Yeah.
So that you could watch YouTube on that before.
Okay.
But then Google said, yeah, you got to drop that because you didn't do it right. Then Amazon said, okay, we're going to go behind Google's back and we're going to implement a new version of YouTube that's based on the web browser. It was pretty jank. It was basically just like, you know, when you're on your smart TV and try to use the web browser, apparently it was like pretty much that bad. And they did this behind Google's back without their authorization, and then Google pulled that one. But it sounds like it's because of their terms of service, but there's a flip side of the story, which is Amazon does not sell Google Homes, hasn't sold Chromecast in 2 years, and stopped selling Nest devices, and Nest is now owned by Google. So it's like, are they pulling these YouTube because the terms of service violations, or are they pulling YouTube because
they're pissed at Amazon?
It's reciprocal, right? So
yeah.
So now the situation was that when they pulled YouTube the second time from the show, they also were like, you know what? We're also pulling YouTube from Fire TV, which is the same as like Roku. Like, that's a big deal, and you need to have YouTube on these services. So that's basically the 2 points of leverage, because Google would
You can't play with my toy.
Google would love for you to be able to buy a home on Amazon.
Yeah.
Because like 25% of all e-commerce is on Amazon.
Yeah.
They would love to be on there. So now apparently they're having productive talks. That's the latest. They're trying to actually make an agreement, because it is mutually beneficial for both parties for them to reach an agreement. And they brought something back here. Amazon brought back selling the Chromecast. That's the first concession we've seen.
Okay.
We don't know if they're going to start selling Nest again. We don't know if they're going to get Google Home on there. I doubt it, because Amazon really wants...
By the way, Chromecast audio is like sick, but sorry, continue. I love Chromecast audio.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Anyway, Amazon really wants to take over the smart home thing with Echo, so I don't know if they're ever going to have Home on there. It's speculated right now that Google may rescind their threat to take YouTube off of Fire TV, because even though they took YouTube off of the Echo Show immediately, Fire TV's cancellation wasn't going to happen until the new year. Okay. So hopefully everyone will get everything.
Yeah, I think there's some weird parts of this. Like, YouTube is very open API kind of situation. You can build a website that just like grabs YouTube videos and looks like a video streaming website, but just plays YouTube videos. And as far as I know, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just embedding YouTube videos, and you can click the YouTube button, go to their website. Anyways, building an app might go too far, but I don't think they actually need... Like, it's all open API stuff. They're just hooking into... They're not like hacking YouTube and taking the videos.
Right. I think it's because they didn't include some... Well, ostensibly, they didn't include some features.
A subscribe button or something, right?
There was no subscribers at all. You couldn't subscribe to things. And there was no next video, like autoplay predictive, which is like all of YouTube, basically.
Yeah.
Their algorithm is like the whole thing.
Yeah, sounds...
I think that's what it was. Like, we don't have this in Canada. This is just like what I've heard.
I've never even seen this thing before. Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Google or YouTube just... Net neutrality is BS, that's why it's gone. No. That's been. I'm going to take a very short aside back to net neutrality, and then I'll be back.
You poked him. You poked the bear. You got it.
If you want to be angry about something like net neutrality, which, like, by all means, be angry about it. Try to be angry for the right reasons, because if you just throw out stuff that isn't actually true, it invalidates the argument as a whole and actually hurts the side that you're trying to fight for. Another thing that I would say is try not to just throw out like personal attacks that are baseless, unless you're like, they are X because of all of these factual reasons that are legitimate and actually make sense in an argument. And making fun of their physical appearance also doesn't help.
Well, even if the personal attacks are true, that's still that doesn't help your argument.
Well, it would only have to be
relevant.
Yes,
yeah.
And it's actually kind of difficult to make personal attacks relevant. It's possible.
Well, people did
like he is immoral because X, Y, Z.
Grab her by the P word.
Yeah.
Can't be president.
Yeah.
Is president.
Yeah.
Will never be impeached.
No.
Trump's America, baby.
Oh my God.
We don't get political.
But just to. Like, when you see someone, and to be clear, I'm on the side of like, heck yeah, I want net neutrality, this is a good thing, I like open internet, everyone, hooray, things are good. But being like, yo, this dude has big teeth, just makes you look really petty, and makes it so that the side that is on the side of him just looks at you and goes like, wow, our competition is small and...
On the internet, no one knows you're a dog.
Point. Yes.
On the internet, no one knows you're a dog. So you might be talking. The person who wrote that might be like a 10-year-old who saw like the trending topic and was just like, ah!
It just like it overshadows, and it's a very quick, easy thing for people to click like on and stuff. So it often overshadows legitimate claims. So and there's an issue right now where a lot of people don't actually even know what's wrong with net neutrality. They're just angry because other people are angry. There are legitimate reasons to be angry about net neutrality going away. A lot of people don't even know them because they're like, this guy that we're upset about his appearance is taking whatever it is away from us. That's bad. That's not a good position to be in. Try to educate people, make things make sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a weird aside. I just wanted to dive back on there. Speaking of me wanting to dive places,
let's dive.
Sponsor spots.
Ooh, who do we have today?
Let's go to Tesoro. We've partnered with Tesoro to give away 10 limited edition Gram Spectrum keyboards.
Shut your butt.
Sure. That's this guy right here. They were modded by the people over at Modders Inc. Oh, that's really cool.
I feel cool holding this. I feel like in the spirit of Star Wars. Yeah.
Also, if you purchase a Gram Spectrum keyboard through the link below, by the end of the holidays, you'll receive 2 magnetic overlays like this one. And I had to check this out before the stream because I actually legitimately thought this was pretty cool. Because I was like, what the heck is a keyboard overlay? I was like, this isn't...
Oh, it's one of those plastic covers like at the library.
But it's magnetic. And it's like, this one's like marble and stuff.
Sweet.
And it actually looks pretty sick. Oh, sorry. And I think that's kind of a neat way to mod your keyboard up. It looks kind of sharp.
What do you do with this
No. Okay, so it goes on like the body. It doesn't go on the keys.
Okay, that's sweet. Okay,
so
that's the opposite of what I thought it was.
Yeah. No,
I was like, what? It's gonna be like those dust covers? Those are brutal.
No,
that's sweet.
I actually thought that too. So you're not alone. When I first saw this.
Now the world knows. We're all on the right page now.
Yeah, so it's hard to see from back there, but there's essentially the layout of a keyboard here, and you would push out the areas that are like where the keys are and stuff, and it would go on the body around the keyboard to give the body of the keyboard a nice marble look, and then you still have your like RGB black keycaps. Black keycaps RGB along with white marble. Looks pretty sick.
Yeah, it'll probably reflect it pretty good.
Keeps the monochrome kind of idea going on, so you can pick whatever RGB color you want.
I'm looking at the box. I'm checking out these low-profile keys.
Yeah, man.
Keycaps.
Yeah, man.
That's sweet.
You guys can win one. We're giving 10 away. I'll post in the
Am I allowed?
Twitch chat.
Is that allowed?
Probably not. Get owned.
Man, working here sometimes sucks.
You can't enter giveaways. Yeah, it's like, man. And then, like, even if you're allowed to enter a giveaway, if you win, everyone's like,
you're like, dude, it's legit.
Rigged. Yeah.
Luke held the hat up real high. I couldn't possibly see whose name was on the paper I pulled out.
Yeah. Speaking of things that aren't rigged, though, Freshbooks.
Freshbooks.
Because you make your own value out of Freshbooks, because Freshbooks allows you to invoice people so you can take money from them for the value that you gave to them, whether that was a service, whether you're like a plumber or a carpenter or a person who pets dogs professionally, or whether that's a good. Maybe you make things, maybe you sew little things that people hang on their walls. I don't remember what that's called, but
cross stitch?
Sure. Yeah.
Tapestry? A tapestrist?
You know the little, they put them in like a wooden frame and it says something on it?
That's a cross stitch.
Cross stitch. Cool. Yeah. Whether you're a cross stitcher or you do something else, apparently I'm not feeling super creative today, you can send them invoices in like a super low period of time. It can tell you if they've opened the invoice or not. So if they're like, yes, I haven't seen your bill, so I have not been able to pay it. You can be like, ha! You did! And then get them to pay it, which is actually pretty sweet. If you have any questions, you can reach out to them and you get to talk to their support staff directly. You don't have to speak to a robot. You just go right to a real human. No phone trees, no escalations, no return calls. You just get answers.
Nothing better than settling an argument with a screenshot, hey? Like, actually, you did.
I have factual information saying that what you were saying is not true.
Let me backpedal. Really busy that day. I was stressed.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, that's fine. You can pay your bill now
right
because
here.
We're talking. Everything's
put
cool.
her there.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, you can get a free, unrestricted 30-day trial. Go to freshbooks.com/techtips and enter WAN Show in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Heck yeah. And then we have Moss. I don't know if we have one here. Oh, here it is. Okay.
What is that?
There's one. It's a bag. Here's a backpack.
I like that logo.
These are actually pretty sharp. Today we're talking about the new and improved Moss Pack and their Moss Nest Bag. The Moss Nest Bag is designed to hold all your essentials without taking up much space. That's this little blue one that he's got. Designed to nest inside their outer pocket of their Moss pack. That's this guy.
There's a lot going on in here.
There is, and okay, I'm gonna say one thing too. This is like this is even in the sponsor notes. I love it when bags have this type of inside, a really, really bright inside.
Oh yeah, if you spill your yogurt in there, like this is, you can basically just hit this with a hose and just boom.
Yeah, for one, it's really easy to clean, but for two, like with our blades, razor blades.
Okay.
If you put a razor blade in here, one, it's black. You'll very easily be able to see that your laptop's inside. Two, when you're like, oh no, where's my power cable? Well, the inside's all bright, shiny, reflective orange.
That's awesome.
You'll find all your stuff super easily. I love this in bags.
I've never had the privilege of a reflective inside, but I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's wonderful.
I'm also picking up this included strap.
Yeah, literally. It can fit a tablet, a phone, a power bank, snacks, headphones, water, whatever else you need. No big deal. Moss Pack is the backpack you plug in to charge your things. I wonder if I can pull this out.
I was wondering what that is. This is sick.
So you guys can't see it super well, but there's a little power bar in here that has a standard power plug, which is nice, and 2 USB ports. So you could charge like your laptop off the standard power plug, and then like a phone or a tablet off of the USB ports, which is actually pretty sweet. This is kind of cool.
There are so many pouches. You know what? That really gets me going because I love having dedicated spots for items.
I really hope my mom isn't watching this.
I'm serious. I hope my wife is watching this. I hate it when things aren't in their spots. I hate wasting my precious life looking for things like, where's my keys? They belong in the dish. They're not in the dish. Someone else didn't put them in the dish because I always put them in the dish. And because I always put them in there, I know where they are. I can find them in the dark. This has so many little pockets. You can be like, this is the spot for the phone at all times. This is the spot for my charger at all times. I can go into a tent and just be like bam, bam, bam.
Perfect.
Love it.
Heck yeah. Improvements include luggage pass-through on the back for attaching a luggage handle. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's sweet.
I haven't even looked over at where you're holding. That's even cooler.
Yeah, here, no. Let's swap. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Stronger orange lining. Here we go. So it is in the notes, actually. Stronger orange lining to make it super easy to see what's inside your backpack. It's in the sponsor notes. I love that so much. I had no idea. Larger waterproof water bottle pocket with fly-out mesh pocket to make getting your water bottle in and out much easier. Greatly improved reinforced top handle. Many other manufacturing improvements.
That's quilted.
It's all
quilted ass.
Plushy and stuff. They offer fast, free shipping on all U.S. orders. Head over to mossorganizers.com / there isn't a / Linus, and use offer code Linus to get 20% off. 20% off today. There you go.
Do you think it's an acronym? Moss?
Moss?
Must organize stuff. I hate your face.
Let's go to their website and see.
Excuse me?
What was that?
It's probably not.
It looks like it's just moss.
Their it's all moss. Their whole website's covered in green fuzzy stuff.
We've looked at no, it's not. We've looked at their cables and their magnet organizer thingies before, but this is the first time I've seen their bags. That's super cool.
Okay, take this away from me.
Mine.
Take it and go. Oh, there's a cord in there. I'll take this too.
Wait, you didn't see that part?
I heard it, but I didn't see it.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. You plug that into the wall externally through this thing.
It's even soft touch rubber. See? It's not junk.
So you don't have to take the stuff out of your bag.
I like it.
It's pretty cool. All right. Back to the actual show. Julia from MCS Tech Tips is back on YouTube with Mike's Computer Shop?
Yeah, dude.
What?
They made a little trailer.
This was posted on the forum by Stargaze. Thank you very much, Stargaze. Let's go over to... Here, why did it start finished? That's weird. There we go. This is crazy because now that NCX is like gone, I've actually bought some stuff from Mike's Computer Shop recently.
I feel like I want to do the music for this.
They're not going to be able to hear it.
If the sound is on, there's no talking in this video. It's just like...
Hopefully it's not like way too loud.
It's just cool music. And then you see these big black boots.
You're like, who's this?
That's someone who identifies as a woman wearing those boots. You can tell
by the
stride,
by the way they are.
Boom!
Wow.
It was Julie all along.
MCS Tech.
news, reviews, how-tos. Whoever wrote that, I read that earlier. I was like, that's nice.
That's pretty neat.
And it rhymes.
That is pretty neat.
I like the writing.
Good job. Impressed. Only 525 views. We can get more. There can be
Double
more on
it.
that. 0 dislikes so far. Heck yeah.
Keep it that way.
Good job, Julia. Good job, Mike's Computer Shop. That's pretty cool. What else
Do you know
is
her?
there? I think I've met her a couple times, I believe, but I don't like know her.
I mostly put this in here because I thought Linus would be sitting here and not me, and he'd be like, "Oh, cool," and he'd have something to say because he
Yeah.
probably personally knows her.
Knows her a bit better. Yeah. But I'm just happy because that whole crew is really cool.
Yeah.
So I've seen what another one of them's doing, and I'm not going to say because I don't know if it's public. And now I've seen what she's doing, and I'm just happy that they're
Doing
continuing to be
stuff.
successful. I don't want to see any of them fail or falter because they're all really cool people.
Mm-hmm.
First ever, SpaceX launches reused rocket and capsule. I believe this is just kind of up and down. I don't think it's actually.
No, that puppy's going to the ISS, baby.
Oh, really?
4,200 pounds of payload.
Wow, that's sick. Okay, this is
Hell
posted
yeah.
by no one on the forum. This is posted by James in the doc.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nobody. Well, actually, it could be in the forum. I didn't do a search, but I didn't see it on the front 1 or 2 pages. So
So I heard that this wasn't what you're saying it is. So that's really exciting. They're just going for
are
gold.
you calling me a liar?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that I just like heard random small time misinformation and didn't actually read an article about it. So that's
well,
really
actually,
cool.
it depends on. Maybe you heard a first. It was a different first.
Oh.
Because like they've done the rocket launch and land like I think 20 straight times or something without failure.
Okay.
And they've done like launch one of these Dragon capsules up. This is the first time that a reused like already spent rocket is underneath an already spent Dragon capsule, and they're going to NASA, and NASA is going to be receiving an already used rocket, and this is the first time for that. They had to do like a big comprehensive review to know whether or not they wanted to accept that. They deemed it a like a marginal increase in risk, given like the risk that already exists. They said it's basically the same. So that's wicked. And it's bringing
cool.
up real cargo. It's actually bringing up a bunch of research materials and equipment for the scientists that live and work up there.
That is really cool. This is really exciting. I don't really have a ton else to say other than it's really
Let's
cool.
just
and
revel
exciting.
in how exciting that is for
Yeah.
a bit. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like, imagine every time you flew overseas on a 747, you
just
got
see,
off
like,
the plane and it just exploded. How much would your plane ticket cost? Like,
It's pretty insane. Yeah.
how? So now, like going there multiple times, going to Mars, going to the moon, or whatever, an order of magnitude cheaper. That's so cool. They're actually doing it. And if you haven't seen videos of these rockets, these first stage rockets, autonomously like landing themselves on the autonomous barges that are out to sea, it's so weird. You think it's Photoshop. You think it's fake. It looks like you're watching the video in rewind.
It's
It's
like
shh.
pulled in by a string.
Yeah,
it's
so
always
stupid.
made me think that it's like being pulled in, not
Yeah.
that it's controlled falling.
It's so counterintuitive.
I don't think anyone watching this knows this. 'Cause I don't think I ever talked about this publicly. But I tried to send a little like mini sat up
Okay.
like a while ago, and
Like
I had
as an adult.
yeah,
Okay.
and I had but like this size.
Because at
with
first I
solar
was like,
panels
oh,
and-
he's a cute kid.
yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
No, I was 25.
I was let's see, probably 24 or 25, and you can I know Taryn knows because I was researching rocket fuel, because I wanted to work with a group in the States that does like hobby rockets, and they've gotten in trouble a lot because it's like sort of a potential for a long range ballistics program, and it's like just a bunch of random dudes, but really they're just trying to be like, this was before SpaceX became like really big. SpaceX was kind of around, but they weren't really big yet.
Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly.
I think they've been around
how
for like
old I was.
17 years now or something.
It's been a while. Yeah. But I was trying to figure out like how much could I pay them to get them to put a little CubeSat up, and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, no, it's way too much money. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
I
probably a
spec'd
good
it
thing.
out.
You don't want it to get so decentralized that anybody can put anything in space.
Yeah.
We're having a hard enough time having everybody able to put anything they want on the internet. On YouTube.
That's fair. And like clutter around the.
Oh, space garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
It's not great. Yeah, I don't know. Fix
Oh,
link.
I hear Linus's voice.
Well, the show's over.
Linus.
Except that we still need to talk about Floatplane.
Come here and talk about Floatplane and let me go home for the weekend. Tag me in, coach.
Yay!
I don't have a...
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, son.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, put Linus in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I was going to say, should we put me in the thumbnail?
Wow. Okay, we have to do something crazy then. Because usually I have an entire show worth of, like, us reacting to things to pull from.
Don't make me come down there.
Just be like...
Perfect. Done.
Oh, that's
I'll
the
steal
worst.
That.
So the thumbnail,
first
the thumbnail
posed-
aids.
The first posed WAN Show
Yeah.
thumbnail. Yeah. And it's probably not even going to be that great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
probably not. What do we have for stuff on Floatplane right now?
This is all good. This is all good. This is all
Is
good.
everything good?
It looks like it's good. It's my thing.
Yeah,
Looks
no,
like
it
it's
should be
all
fine.
good.
Should be fine. Yeah, you got this. You got this.
Do-do-do. We've got TechWiki. How does your web browser know your location? That's actually pretty interesting.
Yep. Actually, it's a really, really cool topic, and there's sort of more to it than I thought, because there's some stuff that I know already.
Yeah.
Like the IP leases
Yeah.
for ISPs are regional, so therefore they can approximate your location. But then there's a bunch of other, like, actually kind of scary stuff, and that's how they know, like, exactly where you are without GPS,
Yeah.
which is neat.
It's neat to know how it works.
Yeah.
Contactless payment technology in a glove?
Oh, that's up on YouTube.
Okay.
No one liked it.
Okay.
I mean, some people liked it.
Okay.
Like 2/3 of people liked it. There, I'll quantify who liked it.
Outside of YouTube statistics, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. We'll take it from that. Setting up brand new sets. That's cool.
Yeah, so this is like the team paints. I rage out because that's what happens when
That's
other
what
people
happens on vlogs.
paint. Yeah. Basically, if you liked construction vlog or moving vlog, it's kind of along those lines.
Okay.
What else we got?
What about the I Justine Studio Tour?
Yeah, that's the feedback on this is really good.
So, and you have talked about this before, I don't think on the show at all,
Yeah.
because this came out this week, so we wouldn't have talked about it earlier. But it's right. We weren't going to talk about it too much because of spoilers.
Yeah, everything's kind of a spoiler, but I'll say this. If you weren't intrigued enough to sign up for Floatplane already, I'll try this. Wrapping paper. Wrapping paper fetish.
What?
See, now you're intrigued, aren't you?
Okay, moving on. Okay. How to boost your cell signal.
Yep,
That's
another
cool.
TechWiki.
TechWiki.
The dumb blonde of virtual assistants.
Nice.
The Jibo robot.
The tweet for this was glorious.
This thing is so bad. Like, I can't believe it's on the cover of Time. They clearly
It's on the cover of Time?
Yeah, as one of the top 25 inventions this year. They
Oh.
clearly never even looked at it.
That, like, actually hurts my soul.
Yeah. Like, they're not, they weren't even trying.
All right.
Yeah.
And then I think we're almost getting back to last week, but we've got 1070 SLI in a slim laptop. That's insane.
The question mark in the title, is it stupid? Yes. Yes, it is. But you can watch the video if you want the longer, more verbose version of that. If you want us to explain why.
Tech Showdown Candy Battle.
Yeah, Tech Showdown Part 1 is up. I don't know if you knew that.
Is it on YouTube?
No.
Yeah, okay. So I did know that.
So Part 1 is on Floatplane. Part 2 is coming to Floatplane tomorrow. Part 1 is coming to YouTube tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
So Tech Showdown has been sort of reimagined.
Heavily.
Heavily reimagined. It's more like Scrapyard Wars of modding and less like arts and crafts. Though to be clear, there's still arts and crafts, and we don't buy anything used.
But he's not wrong, because it is still kind of, yeah, I don't know. That's actually a pretty good description, but there's also the weird caveats that go against it. Anyways, yeah, tons of great stuff on Floatplane, and that's pretty much the show. You missed almost all of it.
Okay, I have to go review the Razer phone video with Taryn.
Okay.
He just finished editing it.
So you're also leaving again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
All right, see you
See
guys.
you next week.
I've been working on the subtitle. Yeah.
Is it like...
I was that are as big as your fist dumb.
Okay. Bye, guys.